Listen, I mean, the Dodgers, we question their pitching, and then they shut out the Padres back-to-back. And then we question their pitching against the Mets, and they did the same thing. So they go with a bullpen group tonight, and you'd think it would be time to eat for the Yankees. But I got to tell you, what Dave Roberts is pulling the right strings, 40 different pitchers. Walker Buehler last night I thought was really excellent. Derek Jeter, 7 World Series appearances, 5-time champ. So let's start with Walker Buehler, because I remember when he came to the Dodgers, he was going to be not Kershaw, but the next great arm. And he threw hard, young, babyface. Then he gets hurt, and then he comes back. And it's like he doesn't quite overpower you, but he's still effective. What do you see from him?
Well, I tell you what, the thing is, you said it. When Walker came up, he threw so hard that he could just throw the ball right by you. Anytime he gets in trouble, you rear back, you throw 100. Now he's turned into a pitcher. And I think in this day and age, people pay so much attention to velocity and strikeouts, where if you actually just go out there and pitch, keep hitters off balance, have them put the ball in play, let your defense play behind you, you understand that you can win that way as well. So it was really it was fun to watch Walker, because I think you mentioned it. When he came up, he was the guy that was going to be the ace of the Dodgers. Unfortunately, he had a few injuries that set him back, but I think he's a much better pitcher now than he was when he first came up.
So I went and looked 5 minutes ago. I went and looked up Derek Jeter career playoff stats, and you literally had no slumps. It's just unbelievable. So you can't relate to the question I'm going to ask, but you probably had 1 or 2 slumps in your career. When you're going through what Aaron Judge is going through, I remember A-Rod they dropped him in the order to 8th. He just struggled. Is it emotional? Are you overthinking? Because golf and baseball, you got a lot of time to sit and think about your next at bat or shot. The times you were in, I mean, literally once or twice in your career, in a slump, what's going through your head?
Well, I tell you, no, look, that's a little unfair, because I've had my fair share of slumps. I remember in 2001 World Series, I wasn't doing too well the first few games till I hit that home run, that Mr. November home run. But that's all anyone remembers. They don't remember, us facing Schilling and Randy Johnson, and our entire offense was slumping. So I think, I'm not talking about Aaron in particular, but when you're in a postseason series and you're not performing how you would like to perform, or what the expectations are of you at the time, you start putting a little pressure on yourself, because you want to contribute, you want to help your team out, especially when your team's not winning, and you may try to do too much. But then another thing, in the postseason, you're hitting against the best pitchers in the league in that particular year. So if you're not feeling great, if you are struggling a little bit, scuffling, trying to find your swing, it's hard to find it when you're facing the best pitchers in the league.
Listen, I felt this about the Mets. The Mets had one great player and then a bunch of good players. And the Dodgers had several great players. Now, I do think Soto, Judge, Stanton, Garrett Cole, obviously. But part of me looks at this, and you're batting Tommy Edman at the bottom of your order. And Derek, he's like the MVP of the National League Championship. There's no oxygen here. Like, there's no out. And I do feel like, I kind of feel like I'm watching a stacked batting order kind of beat a top-heavy batting order. It's just more good hitters. Is that fair?
Well, I think it's fair to say that the Dodgers are very, very deep offensively. And look, we've been covering the Dodgers now for a few weeks, and I'll be honest with you, during the season, I don't see too many Dodger games because I'm asleep, Colin. I'll tell you, I go to sleep early. But, you watch this team, and 1 through 9, they can beat you. You can't. We always talk about navigating your way through a lineup, and there's really no one you can exhale if you're a pitcher and relax on, because these guys they put the ball in play, they make contact. I think that's the biggest thing. They're tough to strike out. These guys can hit. They can hit for base hits. They can hit home runs. They're doing it all. And even you talk about Aaron. Look at Ohtani, hasn't really had the type of series that I think everyone was expecting him to have, but the Dodgers are so deep. They're just tough, man. They're tough, and they have a pretty good team, man.
And, Derek, you were outspoken on this, and I appreciate that as somebody who is a legendary player. That is why I wouldn't have pulled Garrett Cole, for the reason you just stated. if you haven't seen the Dodgers a lot, if you can find a pitcher that can get through the lineup, just go with him. Don't mess around with it. Again, it's different. It's the Guardians. It's different. Or if it's the Mets. But I kind of thought in game one, if you can navigate through this ridiculous batting order, just let Cole go till he's on fumes. And you were outspoken. Do you think beyond game one it set a bad tone?
Well, I wouldn't necessarily say tone. I think, look, we don't have all the information that the Yankees have. The things that they're dealing with. I mean, everyone has a blueprint for success when you go into a particular game. But, the way I look at it is you have to watch. And Alex makes a good point on this is, you just look in the other dugout and you see what they do when you take the pitcher out. We've faced a lot of great pitchers. And then when they come out of the game, everyone's running to the bat rack just because it's another look. And I thought, I thought Garrett was pitching well. Who knows what was going on behind the scenes, but I'm a firm believer you just let him ride as long as you can. But once again, let me just say it again. I'm not sure exactly what was going on behind the scenes, but if I was in the other dugout, I would have been happy that Garrett Cole was coming out.
So Freddie Freeman has hit a home run in 5 straight World Series games dating back to Atlanta. This guy's had his son. That story's been well documented. His injuries. He is on a heater. Go to your playoff career. Did you ever have somebody hitting behind you that you couldn't wait to get on, that they're just seeing the ball? I mean, Freeman now, like, you expect to hit when he comes to the plate.
Yeah.
Take me to your career.
Well, first, let me talk about Freddie. Let me tell you about Freddie first. Look, Freddie hits righties, he hits lefties, he hits fastballs, he hits off-speed pitches, he hits the ball to left field, center field, right field. Freddie Freeman is one of the best overall hitters in the game. Yesterday, I was saying to the guys, he reminds me a little bit of Edgar Martinez.
Yeah.
Edgar Martinez, he's right-handed, but this is a guy that hit for average. He hit for power. You don't think of him as being a home run hitter, but he hits for power, and that's exactly what Freddie does. So when he was going through his issues with his ankle, we're saying if just having Freddie Freeman in the lineup with one leg is going to make you better.
Yeah.
Now he's feeling good, but it's tough, man. Playing against guys. I mean, Manny Ramirez was like that. David was like that. Ortiz. When these guys come to the plate, and you're like, geez, you don't know what's going to happen. But he's locked in right now, and when Freddie Freeman is locked in, there's really no one way to pitch him. You just hope the person behind him's not swinging the bat well.
Analytics are tough. I know Booney, I like him, and I've said this before. The Yankees, they don't make a lot of moves. Cashman's been there forever. The VPs, Aaron Boone, I appreciate that. I like continuity in my life. I like it in my business. Dave Roberts, similarly, people look at him and, well, he doesn't inspire players. And I'm like, listen, players have to inspire themselves if you're making $300 million. I think he's pulled the right levers in the postseason. Again, you say you go to bed early, but what have you seen from Dave Roberts that you like?
Oh, Dave. Well, first of all, Dave Roberts is probably one of the best people you'll ever meet. He's always positive. Look, he I think you talk to his players, they'll tell you he's there to pump them up, whether they're doing well in a slump and struggling a little bit. When you're struggling, you need that positive reinforcement. Dave is there. And look, I get it. As a manager, you really don't get as much credit as you deserve when things are going good. But when things are going bad, you basically get all the blame. But Dave's been a mainstay there. He's a calming influence on the players. He's a calming influence on the organization. You know what to expect from him on a day-to-day basis, and he's a big reason why they're here today.
Yeah. Finally, you threw out the first pitch last night. Did you practice that? Were you a little nervous?
I didn't.
You didn't?
I didn't. You know what? I didn't. I threw out the first pitch twice at Yankee Stadium when they retired my number and then a Hall of Fame ceremony, and both times I threw from in front of the mound, and that's the furthest throw I've thrown since I've retired. And I didn't really think it was going to be that big of a deal for people. But you know how many text messages I got from everyone saying, don't bounce it? Because, I told President Bush not to bounce it in 2001. So the pressure was building.
Yes.
And then Kevin Burkhardt made a good point. It's not easy to do with dress shoes on, man.
Yeah. You didn't get good footing at all. Tip of the cap, Derek, to you. Excellent work. Hey, man, I appreciate
it.
All right, buddy. Good seeing you again.
You too. Take care.
All right. Derek Jeter, one of the all-time greats. I have a feeling the Yankees win tonight. I think you can. I mean, remember last time, and I thought the Padres had the Dodgers in big trouble, and they were going to a bullpen game, and I'm like, I think Dodgers they're cooked here. And they threw didn't they have 8 guys throw a shutout? And like almost everybody just threw an inning or an inning and a third. It was like one of the craziest things. And the Padres were on fire, and suddenly nobody could hit. So we'll see.
Now, where does Jeter rank among your all-time favorite baseball players? It's got to be up there.
I would say my 3 favorite players of all time are Johnny Bench, George Brett, Derek Jeter.
Wow. I go Don Mattingly, Derek Jeter, and then maybe Jeter overtook him at some point. But I just love the Yankees, obviously.
Well, I think, I always say this about Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson's the soul of the Ravens. There's a lot of great quarterbacks. He's the soul of it. You could argue that Andy Reid and Mahomes share in that in Kansas City. Andy's play design, crafty management play calling, and Mahomes executes it. But I think Lamar is just the soul of the team. They are Lamar. His work ethic, his toughness. Jeter always felt like Jeter and Mariano Rivera.
You got to toss Posada in there, Bernie Williams.
Yeah.
It's such a great squad.